Hey folks, welcome back to the shop. Happy New Year. Uh, if the shop looks like it's a mess, that's only because it is. I had a completely different video recorded uh, in place of this one, or previous to this one, and it was dumb. Didn't like it. So uh, I'm going to start the new year off revisiting, if that's okay, a project I did last year, and I wasn't ever happy with it. I wasn't ever happy with the way it came out. Um, I was frustrated because I had one to look at that I could model it against, and it didn't look right. And that is the tea towel marble holder thing. And the reason I'm revisiting this is a couple reasons, actually. One, I have three of them that I have to make for people that I've been putting off since that video. And the wife finally said, hey, you got to get them done. And she's right, I do. So I said, it's all about the template, right? Everything's about the template. So I made a template. I think this is it actually. And it's just a basic oval. And that's what I made the first time. And it was too blocky and it was ugly and I didn't like it. And my wife said, hey, just pull the one down off of the shelf that's there or off of the cabinet. And it's a double-sided tape and it's a mess. But I did that. This is the one that I like the shape of this. It doesn't look bulky or anything like that. What I Oh, now that I'm looking at it, well, he didn't do a very nice job. Um, what I was trying to figure out was how he got the groove cut in it for the marble without cutting the board in half, right? Well, it's funny, when I pulled this off, and I'll bring you around here and show you. When I pulled this off, it pulled the double-sided tape off the back and it revealed a bunch of secrets. So let me bring you around here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is the piece in question. This is the one that my wife bought at a craft show. And I'm going to try and do this without being all backwards and bumping into the camera. But it's a nice shape. It's not all that large. See, already. That's where the tea towel goes. Now, the marble is not in this one anymore. And here's why. Like I said, there's a trough, if you will, in there that the marble rides in and out of. And when I made mine, I cut the top off of this bottom section. Used the saw to put a groove in it and then glued it back together, and it was okay, but you could definitely see it. So when I took this off the wall and flipped it over, lo and behold, he drilled a hole. And when he drilled the hole, he came in at an angle this way. And that was his trough, if you will. The other thing I noticed was he nailed it together. And you can't see it, but if you look inside, one of the nails actually kicked and came into where the marble goes. So while this is kind of cool looking, it's got its own problems. Um, like he did a round over. I'm saying he. I don't know who built this. He did a round over on this part and this part. I don't necessarily like that, and here's why. If it doesn't match up exactly, it kind of looks like there's a groove there, and it's just a matter of he didn't like the round over doesn't match the part above it. I don't like that. So these are everything else about this I like. I love the shape of this. Okay, that's what I couldn't get was the shape. So we're going to take a second stab at this and see what we can do. So by snagging this off of the cabinet and leaving a lot of double-sided tape on the cabinet that I have to remove, that's the downside of these, is it's a double-sided tape. Once it's on there, it's on there. Okay. Quick tip, if you need to get sticky residue off of things like glass and stuff like that, the old double your D40 there. You put that on the glass. I can probably put this on the cabinet too. I can't go crazy, but it loosens up that glue. There you got a little tech tip for you. Anyway, so for me to get this shape, obviously I needed to make some type of a template, or I needed to have this in the shop all the time, drawing on whatever it is I'm making this out of. And the reason I'm revisiting this is because My wife and I decided that we are going to do at least one, maybe two craft shows starting in the spring. And if my wife bought this, then anyone will buy this. Okay. She paid $15 for this. And so what I need to do is figure out how to make these a lot quicker than I made the other one. How about that? So what I did was I took a piece of 1/4 inch MDF, particle board, whatever you want to call it. I just set it on there, traced it around, got my shape. Like I said, this is the best shape that I kind of like that more than anything. And you can make this out of any kind of wood. You can make it out of pine, or in this case, I'm using cherry because my sister-in-law's kitchen is cherry, and 2 of these are going there. What I might be able to do is trace this out on a piece of paper, take a picture of it, and load it into the comments. I don't know if I can do that or not, so that you can print it out. If you have interest in that, if I can do that, I'll do that. I'm not making any guarantees. So what I've done is I've sort of scrounged around the shop and found some scrap pieces of cherry. This one is, obviously you can see it's all what I would call punky. It's real dry down here and it's got some worm damage. But from here up is okay. So I've gone ahead and traced the template out on that. I need a second piece to make this top right here. And there's a slot that the towel goes in. So I think that one will work. I have a couple, you know what, I can only get one out of that one, so I can maybe get 2 out of this. All right, so I have a piece over there that I'm going to use. This piece is, I can't see. Oh, okay, it's almost 3/4, which actually is the thickness of the one I'm going for. So what I need to do is get this traced out on both pieces, because the top and the bottom are going to be the same as far as size and everything. And then I got to get out some tools. Okay, so I am using a 3/8 marble, according to, yeah, 3/8. It's actually slingshot ammo because I wanted a smaller marble. I think I talked about that in the last one. Anywho, so what I've done is I've made sure that my pointer on the drill is correct, and I need to come down. Now, oddly enough, it's a 3/8 marble, but on the one I'm working on, a 3/8 Forstner bit would not allow the marble to drop in. So either the marble's wrong or the Forstner bit's wrong. The marbles came off of Amazon. The Forstner bits came from Harbor Freight. You choose. So here's how I have been doing this. Oh, mercy. I'm going to bring this up to where it's just touching that drill bit. Now, I don't know if this is the right way to do this or not. Oh, that might be a little bit too much. There we go. Now we're going to drop it just a smidge. I don't want to start it with that on there. Okay, anywho, his trough was about 2 1/4 to 2.5, and his is a very sharp upgrade. But I don't want to drill through the back. I think it's tacky. I think I'm above that. I'm not, but I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is Forstner bit out most of it, and I guess we'll just drill it out. Like I said, right now I am set at 0. Where this is starting is about a 1/16 off. So I know, looking at my gauge here, I know where I can go to here, and it'll be fine. Okay, and then if we want to check that, oh, see what happens when you put stuff away? Golly. Okay. If you want to check it, just drop a marble in there. I can already tell that's not quite deep enough. The marble has to be flush with or below the face of this board. Stay there, Mr. Marble. Don't go away. Oh, that's definitely under. Okay, good. And just set a board on top of it, and you'll be able to feel it. Okay. So, all right, Mr. Marble, you can go home. So from there, I'm just going to incrementally step up as I get to the end because it has to slope up as it's. I'll show you when I'm done. Even as I'm trying to explain that, it's bad. So let me go ahead and drill the rest of these out, and then I'll bring you back in. So when you're done, or at least when I'm done, this is kind of what I have. That's very shallow to very deep. And listen, if you're not 100% dead straight, it's okay. It just has to be semi-straight. That's why there's a line here. I try to follow that line, but listen, it's 2 days after New Year's. I'm not even fully awake yet. Now we have to get to have fun. Okay, and again, it's important to note that I'm doing this before cutting the shape out. If I really wanted to, I could set up a jig on there so that this will only go back so far, and I know I'll be 100% perfectly in line. I'm just not that ambitious. That's junk. Okay, now we get to play with hand tools. Sure, I don't know where mine are at. Sure. Nope. Once upon a time. Looking for my chisels, in case you're wondering. Yeah, I know, here's a whole box of them, but that's not the one I'm looking for. Well, doggone it anyway. I guess we have to go with this one. I haven't sharpened these ones, which is why I'm kind of like, nah. The great side effect of having a way to sharpen my lathe tools is I also have a way to sharpen my chisels now. And I have a set of chisels that I bought at some hardware store that's out of business now up in Grove City, Pennsylvania. I paid like $6 for them. Man, I got those things razor sharp. Anyway, and I don't know where it's at. It's kind of a bummer. You know, the sentimental thing. These are Hobo Freights. This is a 1/2-inch chisel. Conceivably, I should be able to just go down in there and it's fine, but you can't. You have to clean up the sides first. And that's what's next. I'm just going to clean this up and I'm going to smooth the ramp, if you will. Okay. So I think what I'm going to, this is just me. If you're better at this, then you do it how you do it. I'm going to draw a straight line down this side so I know where I have to chisel to. Do the same on this side. I can't see. Man, I need lights in here. That should be in my New Year's resolution. Get some lights in here. I hate New Year's resolutions, by the way, in case you're wondering. So we're going to come across here first. Again, can't see. And listen, no jokes about how old I am, okay? I can't see. Okay, so that's after it's chiseled out, cleaned up, if you will. And I just took a piece of block of wood and put some sandpaper on it and just smoothed it out. The holes I'm not worried about, and here's why. There's another piece that's going to sandwich over top of this. You might be able to see it, but odds are you're not. You don't have to have a stop here. You can actually make that completely smooth all the way in. You don't have to have a stop, just the way I chiseled it out, mine does. But you don't have to have that, and I'm going to show you why now. So this is the top. It is exactly the same shape. And I mean, you can flip it over. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about all that. But this is going to be cut I have mine measured at 5/16. And what that's going to do is going to be like that over that trough, and that'll allow that marble to come up so far. Now, do not make this wider, thicker, higher, whatever, than your marble, because your marble will just shoot out and then you'll look silly. So that brings us to the next step. I have to cut this out. And again, do this before you cut the shape out, because otherwise you can't cut that. I'm just going to do this on a bandsaw. So part of that video the other day that I said I recorded and didn't want to put out was me figuring out how to do all this. For one thing, I had to cut this down because this bandsaw is rather short. I think it's got a, I don't know, 4-inch cut. 3 3/4 actually. So it's really small, but I don't have a fence for this. And for me to cut this straight, you got to have a fence. So, you know, I made one. There you go. And I can just line this up. Like that. And clamp it in with the absolute worst clamps that I own. And then I put one down at this end just to kind of, sure I do. Where's it at? Oh, here it is. Because when you clamp this one on, it tends to want to bring it back that way. So I put one over here just to combat that. Ugh. Okay, and we are just about spot on. So I'm going to go with it. Now, I do, just for the sake of argument, measure at the blade to, let's say, this black line, which is 4 5/16. Come down here, it's dead on. So, all right. Here we go. Now I will get something, what I used the other day. I don't know. How about this? Because I don't like the old flanges up there, you know? It's going to be loud. Okay, so when that's done, this is what you're left with. I just 45 that instead of cutting it 90. The prototype, if you will, has a nice sweeping curve. That bandsaw will not cut it. And as far as all of the bandsaw marks, those sand right out with a palm sander. So that's not a problem. Okay, so there we go. So with that done, now we can cut the shape out. Now, here's my problem. I didn't think about this, is that this is cut out. My drawing's on this side. So I can do it, but I'm going to be careful. Because I don't want that to, you know, pull down. What I could do is maybe stick that under it. Cutting twice as much then, but I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll start with this one and think about it while I'm cutting this one. Penguins are up 1-0, by the way. So over at the, whatever this thing's called, sander, and all I did was just get a piece of double-sided tape, stick that old piece back on top, Did we score again? Yeah, pens are up 2-0. So now I can see my picture. Now the one I made yesterday, I put the template on top after I had it rough cut and used the flush trim bit on the router table. I'm going to tell you that was terrifying. Okay, had a flush trim bit sticking up 1.5 inches. I didn't like it. So I've cut this one a little bit closer. I'm going to see if I can just sand to the line. Okay, I'm not quite as terrified of this. The 10,000 RPMs with a blade, yeah, no, thank you. I'll pass. Okay, I got those so they're really quite close, which I guess is the benefit of a flush trim bit on the router, is you can, if you're using a template, you can get them spot on exact. Oh, sorry, hockey. I got them really close. I got them close enough that I'm okay with it. So now I'm going to hand sand around the outside, because yay. And I'm going to sand, basically I'm going to sand everything. I'm going to pay extra attention to this because I think I'm a little bit thick. And I don't want to be thick. One way to check that is to get a flat edge and crouch and make noises. Golly Moses. Well, as it had turned out, I can't see anyway. No, I'm actually right where I wanted to be. So maybe I won't take any off of that. I'll just sand it flat. Yeah, I don't want bandsaw marks in there. That's just bad. So now I'm just going to sand. Yay. And I'm not going to make you watch that. So one quick thing before I start sanding, because I forgot to do this, is I am putting a round over on the top piece. This is cherry. If you go slow, it's going to burn. If you go fast, it's going to burn. It's just going to burn because it's cherry. That's okay because it sands off pretty easily. So I already have this set to where it was yesterday when I did the other one. And which is good because since these both go into the same person, at least they'll kind of look the same. So, oh, that's better. Okay, this is only slightly less terrifying. What I normally do is I don't go all the way to the bearing. I kind of take a little bit and then come back in and take a little bit more. But I need both eyes to do this. There we go. Just go slow and take your time. Definitely burning. Probably could have had that set a little bit lower. I got a lip there. I don't like the lip. So that'll come off when I sand. It's fine. Now, sanding. Okay, a quick note about finish. You can finish these however you want. You can stain them, whatever. I poly them, and then we have some stencils. That's where my wife comes in. She's going to take care of that. But I do not finish the inside bits all the way up because that's where the glue is going to hold. I don't nail mine together. I don't think you need to. You glue it, you put a little bit of clamp pressure on it, you're good to go. So I just tape that part off so I know there's no finish there. It'd be wood to wood, everything would be happy. And I have 2 of these. This one's got 1 coat on it already. I don't know. Here it is. You guys use foam brushes? You ever try to reuse them? See how that goes. I'm hoping it'll just soften back up, but I don't think it will. Definitely not. Okay, well, that was awesome. Oh, that's much better. Boy, I'm going to tell you what, this piece here, I don't want a stencil on it. Man, that's beautiful. Okay, so here it is. This has 2 coats of Minwax polyacrylic, whatever their water-based polyurethane is, sanded in between coats. This top will get sanded one more time. And then my wife, once it's sanded, will put a stencil on there, and then I'll coat the top of this again just to cover that in. Really, once you get started on this, it's a short build. You can make these pretty quick, and they sell. I mean, like I said, my wife bought one. She never buys anything at craft shows. She paid $15 for this one. Okay, and that was in Eastern Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, Youngstown-ish type of area, I want to say. So literally a scrapwood project. I mean, I made these 2 out of just what I had laying around in the shop, and it's a pretty quick build. Once you get going on it, it's a pretty quick build. And so I have a feeling I'm going to be making quite a few more of these, and I think hopefully this will be a staple at when I do craft shows. This will be one of my sellers. So thanks for hanging out with me in the shop. I always appreciate it. Happy New Year, guys. I'm looking forward to this new year. I'll see you on the next one. God bless.